So, guys, this is just a small portion of our longer 1.5 hour podcast. You can check that out on our new channel, Humanity First Podcast. We'll link it in the top right corner. All right, enjoy.
So, what are we talking about today?
We are going to talk about The Mandalorian. I feel like we haven't talked about that enough, especially with Jon Favreau. Favreau.
Yeah.
Announcing that Season 2 is going to air next fall, right? 2020.
Next fall, yeah.
So it's going to continue. So
they need something going on.
I think we feel like, in the other videos, the videos we do on the other channels, it's more focused on like lore-specific stuff.
Yeah.
So we never get a chance to really talk about like what we want to see in these shows to like a really kind of detailed degree and what we enjoyed and liked without having to really try to make it like a focused like lore narrative. So that's what we're going to do today. I think let's look back on what we liked in this past season first, and then let's talk about what we want next season.
Yeah, okay. So right now I got the first episode queued up actually.
That's right. So the first episode is when we're introduced to the Mandalorian.
This is
right?
Pablo Escobar.
Pablo Escobar.
No, sorry, he plays Pablo Escobar. What's his name again? Pablo.
I'm too sick to remember his
Is
name.
it Pedro?
Pedro?
Pedro something?
Pablo?
God damn, this is starting to feel racist. Hold
Pablo
up.
Sanchez.
No, it's
that's
not.
Backyard Baseball.
That's
That's
not-
Backyard Baseball.
Wait. No, he's a great actor.
I
Just
always
can't
would know his
forget-
name. I just can't remember.
He's the
right
guy who
now.
does he's the Prince of Dorian, and he flips over the mountain and stuff.
Oh, his eyes just get crushed.
Oh yeah,
I'll
that
never
was.
forget that.
I get so angry when things like
Well, what
Pedro
bothered-
Pascal.
That's right. What
We're
bothers
pretty
me is
close.
that
Pedro Pascal.
if we combine all of our answers together,
Yeah.
we're not close at all.
Okay, we're not close at all. That's fine.
Did you say? You might have said Pedro.
I said like Pablo Picasso. All right, okay. Anyway.
Anyways, is what his face looked like after the mountain got done with him.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's why he's wearing the helmet. I like that continuation.
Whoa.
Bing. Now we get to see.
End of video.
Okay. All right. So
Okay,
what?
so-
Go
ahead.
No, you go first.
I was just going to summarize what happened in the first episode, which is that.
Okay, do it.
So first episode, we're introduced to this Mandalorian guy, right? He's picking up a bounty. What's the type of alien he's picking up again? Do you remember?
It's the blue thing.
Not necessary.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
But he's picking up an alien on a bounty. He basically takes the guy back. We get a little acquainted with him.
Right.
And then he gets from Grief. We meet the Grief Karga,
Right.
leader of the Bounty Hunters Guild. Grief Karga basically gives him like this really special bounty. Or no, he sent him to the client, right? The client,
Right,
Werner
exactly.
Herzog. Werner Herzog gives him like this really crazy bounty that doesn't have a puck, right? There's no puck for it, right?
No puck, only a tracker fob.
Right, only a tracker, and it turns out to be Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Right, and he meets IG-11 that episode. He does a big shootout. So what did you think of that first episode?
I was just excited that we're having live action thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I was excited that we're going to see The Mandalorian, and so right away with these opening shots, I really liked how minimalistic it was. How like, this episode was I think directed by Dave Filoni.
Right.
Dave Filoni is basically the spiritual protege of George Lucas in a lot of ways. Like, he understands the lore, he understands everything. Maybe sometimes too much, sometimes. But I thought he handled his first direction of a live action movie relatively good. I mean, I'm pretty used to Star Wars TV shows by this point, even though most of them are cartoons. They typically start off slow, and I kind of had that feeling. Nothing really happened during the episode that was that exciting, except for the very end when we're introduced to, the Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda.
Yeah, but other than that, it was pretty standard. Like, I didn't have too many expectations going in.
Yeah.
So I thought it was just an okay episode.
Yeah, for me, I did have expectations going in. Not in terms of, I admit it, not in terms of being like a Star Wars fan, just in the terms of being a greedy Netflix watcher.
Okay, sure.
Expecting like something really good, really gripping, really dramatic.
Yeah.
It didn't give me that first episode. First episodes are hard though, to be fair. But
Well, I would say this is not like a pilot that needs to wow. It's a series that's already like guaranteed at least one season, right? If
that's
it.
true. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't like I watched it and I was like, oh, just like, let's just forget about it. There was things in it that made me really interested. Honestly, I thought like the fighting was cool in the bar or the restaurant.
Right.
That was cool. I know that you wanted to see some more interesting set design. I think you said something like that. I thought it was interesting to a degree. The world building wasn't great, but I thought it was interesting enough to keep me watching for sure. I mean, I definitely wanted to like learn more, and then of course like the end of the episode is like, okay, well, this is what this is going to be about, and we have to, we've never explored Yoda's race before, so it's something interesting to kind of keep watching.
Yeah. I think I was. Again, because of my experience, especially with the Clone Wars, like I just know a lot of these Star Wars properties. It's like a slow burn. It takes quite a while for them to build the momentum where things actually get interesting. So I was not ready to judge the series yet by the first episode.
I mean, pilots in general with series like are notoriously like lower quality than the rest of series.
Of course.
So. So then the second episode.
Okay, let's go on.
That was, I don't remember everything happened, but I know it was the episode where he basically deals with the Jawas and trying to get Baby Yoda back. So I guess he's taking him back to the Bounty Hunters Guild or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
What he kind of. Oh, he's taking it back to the client. Sorry.
Right.
This
is where the Jawas mess. Like they basically put his ship on cinder blocks.
Right.
But worse.
So I think it's important here is that, well, actually, though, the first time that the traumatization of Baby Yoda begins is when I guess he kills the droid in front of Baby Yoda. But then he also, in the beginning of this episode, like kills a bunch of mercenaries who like were tracking.
Right, and then he starts like
literally
sniping.
Kills one of them right in front.
Then he
starts sniping the Jawas right in front of
Jawas.
Baby Yoda's like,
I thought this episode was an improvement, whereas like the first one was just setting the scene, not much was happening. I actually like the little action sequences. I love the part with the Jawas because I think I hate Jawas. I think they're the scum of the earth, and like they always lower real estate prices whenever they move in, and it was nice seeing the Mandalorian take him out with a sniper rifle. That was cool, and then he gets to the top. And then they all fire the ion blasters at him, knock him out, and he goes flying out. That's pretty funny, yeah.
I mean, redlining is a serious issue. But when it happens to Jawas and people are trying to stop Jawas from moving into your apartment building, it's understandable.
What is redlining?
Oh, that's where like you use discriminatory practices to keep certain peoples out of like being able to like lease
rent
and stuff.
Redlining.
A horrible thing to do, but to Jawas, you kind of get redlining. But
no, I mean Jawas do not provide literally anything for the economy.
Everything goes down.
They're scavengers. They steal stuff.
So
they're scumbags.
That scene specifically where he kind of chases down the Jawa. Do we know what the Jawa vehicle is called?
The Sandcrawlers.
The Sandcrawlers.
So I have a Star Wars superfan nitpick here.
Go.
The Jawas are from Tatooine. They should be from Tatooine. And the reason why they have the Sandcrawlers is because many years ago, Tatooine was mined for resources, and like the mining companies just left the Sandcrawlers behind. I mean, they were used to transport ore or whatever. And it was just weird seeing the Jawas on another planet, and that to me is kind of laziness.
So how would they have gotten the?
It's possible that they could have left their planet, but it just seems lazy.
Is it possible that they figured out how to build them, or no?
Well, maybe there's definitely a way to retcon this and make it.
Yeah.
Like I don't have a huge problem with this, but there were definitely fans who said like. There's a little too much fan service going on already, and you have the same aliens as before, the Jawas,
it's funny you say that because, for me, this episode, I liked it too. It's when I first started to recognize that, like, I definitely thought there was some pacing issues with the show because the show was not an hour long; it was only like 30 minutes, 40 minutes.
Yeah, a little bit.
And so they had the scripts that tried to accomplish so much,
right?
And so you just feel like everything was just kind of rushed along. Not a lot was left to breathe, but. Honestly, there was a couple times I laughed. Like I laughed when the Mandalorian like opened his flamethrower on the Jawas. Like that was
great.
Funny.
Yeah, I think the problem, and this is something we could talk more about as we go on, is like the Mandalorian, unfortunately, is kind of made for children because it is on the Disney streaming platform.
It was made for children to be able to watch also.
Right, and I think that there's a limit to how long you can make a children's TV
you're not
show.
Pay attention.
You can't make it an hour long, and. If you really are gonna make what more Star Wars fans wanted, which is something a little more gritty, a little more real, a little more violent, then you're going to be pushing that hour length that you would traditionally see with, like a Game of Thrones style show or something else.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted the show to be made for me, And obviously it's understandable. It's a selfish thing.
I don't think it did a terrible job. I mean, we'll keep going with it. I think it kind of walks that line pretty finely. We'll see.
But also, this episode really, what it did do was it showed that they really are going to pursue a Western style, like epic, right? Like, I loved the style of everything they did, like chasing down, it would be like chasing down like the horses, chasing down the sand crawler,
right.
crawling to the top, like him getting riddled with bullets is really him getting riddled like with the blaster fire, was it?
Right.
So that was all really cool. How does that episode end again? Do we remember?
Mudhorn. Well, we gotta get to the Mudhorn.
The Mudhorn fight was cool. What did you think about the way they revealed that Baby Yoda's had that power?
No, it's nice. I thought that was like definitely a pretty obvious thing that's the direction they had to go.
Yeah.
But it's also interesting that we get to see more of Baby Yoda. Like this was really a like kind of the first episode of feature Baby Yoda. Like the last one we didn't really see much of him, but here we finally get to see him in action, and like you can tell that Baby Yoda doesn't know what the hell is going on. Really, you know what I mean? Like there are many times where he could have stepped in and used his powers, but it's really until he sees his Mando dad down on the ground, he's actually pushed to do something and like actually use the Force. So they're establishing that kind of link between the two, that special kind of relationship they have.
They started to build their bond.
Yeah.
Side note, I like Mando Dad, but I saw the other day on some social media site somebody was saying Dadalorian.